10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Live Tuesday night, Competition Plus Power Hour on the CompetitionPlus.com platforms. Welcome, everyone. We're ready to talk some drag racing. I'm Lee Kraft, and over there is Mr. Dugenay Bland. Dugenay, we had an exciting weekend of NHRA drag racing, and I was at Mid-State Dragway, formerly known as Central Illinois Dragway. Before that, also known as Mid-State Dragway, for some Nitro Chaos Championship finals.
Man, that sounds fun. It was a great weekend for sure, and had some really cool surprises, kind of like we had in the NFL, in the NHRA as well. So that was pretty cool.
Big surprises throughout the sports world, but yes, big surprises in the world of drag racing. I would say even Nitro Chaos had its surprises there at Mid-State Dragway. We've got plenty to chat about. We've got two great guests lining up. The runner-up in Top Fuel competition, Doug Foley, is with us in just a few moments. And then Megan Meyer stops by to give us an update on Randy Meyer Racing, what she'll be doing in 2025 and beyond.
Yeah, that should be fun. I'm really interested to see how that, hear about how it came about and what is ahead in 2025.
Well, what is ahead of us right now, we're going to take a brief look at the results from zMAX Dragway for the NHRA Carolina Nationals. And right after that, the runner-up in Top Fuel, Mr. Doug Foley.
They leave the starting line. Antron is out first. Doug Foley's trying to hang with him, and it's Antron Brown back-to-back in the countdown. 384.8 outruns a respectable 386.2. And for Antron Brown, a team that seemed to struggle in midseason, they are in championship form. Of Matt Hagan. They thunder off the starting line. Hagan's 51 to Brock's 70. And at the stripe, it is Austin Brock with a 392.4 at 326 miles an hour. Oh man, Glenn's car made a big move to the left. That may be just enough to give the advantage to Stanfield. No, it's good enough for Glenn. 662 beats a 663. We talked about a couple of defining moments today for Dallas. He had to beat Erica, he did, and he had to slay Stanfield, and he did. This is the 400th career win for Chevrolet and Pro Stock. A red light start for Gadsden by 13 thousandths of a second. Matt Smith basically unopposed.
Congratulations to all the winners at zMAX. And now with the runner-up in Top Fuel, Mr. Doug Foley. And Doug, you proved, as we routinely say on the show, that you cannot count out the part-time players. You, TJ Zizzo, Trip Tatum, many others. You all show up, and you can play spoiler out there amongst those that go from race to race in the circuit.
Yeah, it's definitely first. Thanks for having me. It's, for the part-time teams, we don't have 20 weekends to try and figure it out. We don't have that kind of time. We really have to go out, try and qualify well, make good decisions, and try to put ourselves in a position where you can compete on Sunday, maybe you qualify to a better spot, and sometimes just end up on the right side of the ladder.
You guys have been running quite consistent when you come out. You guys have been putting up really good numbers and qualifying. What is the formula? What can you attest that to your guys' consistency? That is so important, especially when you go to as few races as your counterparts.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is, I think the finals was run, I think it was 44 for the year. So, compared to somebody like Antron, that's probably into 120s or 130s already this year. So with their testing and everything. So they have so many more runs to figure it out, try different combinations, try some things. And we rarely get that opportunity to try different things. We were able to at Maple Grove. We thought we figured something out. Seems like we did. And we got a little bit more power now than we did in the past. But you really got to make those runs consistent. We were a little bit more consistent in Charlotte, and we got down to track 3 out of 4 times in qualifying, and then kind of felt like we were going into Sunday feeling pretty good that we had a reasonable shot at it.
All right, Doug, before we dive into in particular on Sunday and this good run, first of all, the team is not unaccustomed to showing up and having some good days. You're part of one of the well-known Gator Nationals and a freak occurrence with weather and going all the way to a final against Trip Tatum, who won. But round wins even at zMAX, round wins at other places as well. So certainly a team and a program that the other teams have to keep an eye on. Where do you feel like the program is right now, though? Wasn't that many years ago you came back to drag racing in Top Fuel, and it's been kind of up and down. You've had high-profile names part of the team, and now they've gone on, and you're there, and different partners coming in, playing a role. Where is it?
Well, I will say our biggest improvement has been on the funding side, for sure. We really worked hard. We've had a couple people come in. Austin Cardulis has come in to help us, and several others on trying to locate those sponsors and trying to grow that program. And, we all know it takes dollars to do this. And so that's been our best increase in performance as far as just finding those partners, trying to do some B2B and really create those relationships that'll help this team move forward. So on the sponsorship side, I think we've really done well. And I think those partners are growing with us. So we'll have an increase next year. As far as, maybe some of the other things that we're working on, bringing Doug Cook on to work with Lance has been a really good, addition to the team. Now they work really well together on trying to figure it out and discussing different opportunities. And so I think, we're definitely going in the right direction on the thought process, thinking it through. And, one thing I always try to do is never really compare myself on performance. I do, but never really compare myself or think that we're a full-time team. If you fool yourself on thinking that you have the budget or the means that they have, you'll run yourself broke pretty quickly.
How many more races can we expect you to be at here, the finish of this season?
To be honest with you, we were planning on going to Dallas, but I don't know. I kind of think that, that may have been our swan song for the year. You look at it and right now we have a multi-million-dollar facility being built. We're moving to Mooresville, North Carolina from Brownsburg, and we plan on moving out of there in December, getting over here, getting settled in, and working on that. We have a brand new car being built. It's almost completed at PBRC, which is going to be a great addition. So we'll have a second car. So we're working on all those parts, pieces, and everything that make us a better team. But we truly believe that this is a team that needs to run maybe 12 minimum next year. I really think 12 to 14 would get us the run count that we need. If we were capable of starting at the pro race in Bradenton and getting some testing in, if we're fortunate enough to be invited to that, that would be a great asset for us to start with maybe 10, 12, 15 runs under our belt before we hit to Gainesville. I think that would give us some good momentum that we haven't had in the past.
All right, so overall, that question about the program and where it is at. Coming into zMAX in particular, you said you felt like found something there at Reading for the national event there at Maple Grove. But this year in particular, with as tight as the competition is, there have been some highs and there have been some lows, some good runs, have not qualified for some shows. How did you feel in your gut? I don't mean just looking at numbers and dots and all the data. But in your gut, Doug, how did you feel about zMAX? Did you feel like, hey, home race, we've got some round wins here before, this might be our weekend?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, any competitor goes into it.
I think he froze.
We lost Doug. Oh, boom. We lost Doug.
Yeah, we lost Doug.
Like,
I was very
lost.
interested. Yes. I'm very interested to see what he was going to say on that one. It's cool to hear that they are moving and making progress to be able to run more races. I really do hope they do get the invite. That would be great for a team like that to be able to go to Bradenton, kind of no pressure situation. It's actually a race that, it's going to give you a little bit of cash and get some testing in, and then be right and ready to come into Gainesville, hit the ground running. Because I think if they can get some more runs under their belt, I really do believe that they have every ability to be able to run with those guys and possibly get himself a Wally.
Absolutely. And so many times you had Doug mention it, and we've had TJ Zizzo mention it. Any of these high-performing part-time individuals and teams, they routinely runs data, and it is the team gelling, it's being up with the car, it's having those data points to look at the situation you're in, and then, hey, we can do this and plug this in. So the more they get that done, the better off they're going to be.
Yeah.
Let's see. Doug with Sheila there. Hope you're doing well, Sheila. Is trying to figure this out. Let's see if he's unmuted. Still muted at the moment for some reason. What did you change, Doug? We'll get Doug back eventually. It was all good. Therefore, I don't know.
It was.
Technical difficulties. It does happen when you are live.
Got
But
that right.
he brings up an interesting point. Look, a lot of the people I talk to within NHRA, they are the part-time type of teams.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at Pro last year with the Pro Superstar Shootout, and a Doug Foley, a Buddy Hull, a Scott Palmer, they're not invited.
Right.
And I understand the platform. I'm not saying that was a wrong move.
Right.
But you do wonder, with Drag Illustrated not being a part of it apparently this year, is it going to be something that will be a part of the program? So,
yeah.
Right.
I hope so. I mean, I think it's a good benefit. It gives those teams an opportunity. It gives them an opportunity to get some laps under their belt early. And like I said, the cash is a good thing because, a lot of those teams can't just go out here and burn nitro for free doing testing and trying to get ready for races. So, I think that would be a really good deal there to be able to have those guys come out and, compliment and be out there part of the field.
All right, Doug, we're going to bring you back in. And I've got the mic icon. We should be able to hear you now.
Yeah.
Say something, Doug.
I don't know. Can you hear us?
I don't know. Can you hear us now?
I can hear you.
All right.
All right,
Cool.
there we go. We're good.
Sure.
We're good.
Sorry about
We're
that.
good. Okay. No worries, man. No worries.
No worries.
Again, Doug, going into zMAX, where was the team? Where were you as a driver? Your thoughts?
Well, we always go into every race thinking that you're capable of winning a race. And with that the case, you always look at what can you do better? What can you improve on? The problem we run into on all of this is the fact that we've lost the last couple races by hundreds, 200, they've been really close. So you really can't do much to improve on that other than try and be a little bit more consistent, try and qualify better, and try and really narrow, the ability to make any mistakes and just try and be there when it comes time on Sunday.
So there's a pretty interesting question here in the chat. It says, what are the big differences between running IHRA and NHRA top fuel? The old IHRA guys seemed to struggle when they had to switch over.
It is tough to switch over. There's no doubt about it. That was years ago, but the competition was different. You look at Clay Milliken, who is, obviously the most successful person to come over and run NHRA. But even then, it took him years to get his first win, which I believe was Bristol. And I believe it took many years for that to happen. So competing at NHRA at the highest level is no easy task for anybody, that's for sure. And we look forward to that first win, but we also have to take into consideration how long did it wait for it to happen. And, now he's a U.S. Nationals winner. So we just have to be patient, watch our program, and do the best we can.
Speaking of Clay, I just looked at the results. Like, you lined up again. Like, y'all cannot get away from each other.
Yeah.
We do compete against each other quite often, and I enjoy it. It's just a great rivalry, but a friendly rivalry.
Yeah, that's pretty
It's cool
good.
to see. It is cool
It
to
is.
see. So, Doug, a run like the one you had Sunday, what does it do for a team? And I'm going to phrase it this way as well. What does it do for a team with the future of most of those parts staying together with that team? And I think you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I mean, for us, ending the season on something like that is great. It's great for sponsorship. It's great for us to look through everything and just make sure that we're well prepared for next year. And, it does help us, catapulting these sponsorships and these relationships into next year and really look at what is it to refine it. You could see in the semis, we blew up pretty good. That car was on fire. And you look at all of those teams that came through and helped us prepare the car for the finals. It just showed that I believe they respect us and what we're trying to accomplish. And the friendships we built over the years, they came over and gave us a hand. And they don't know how much we appreciate that. But we're really looking forward to next year and taking these sponsors into next year, a longer schedule, and try and make those moves to see if we could just step it up one notch and be a little bit better.
Well, that's pretty awesome to see what happened this weekend. Those times, it's kind of like it's kind of like when teams win the Super Bowl. Those moments don't always happen, and you have to cherish those moments. How did the team feel? How did the team feel after that particular race there in Charlotte? And what kind of confidence did it give you guys?
The confidence is high right now, and we want to continue that. It was kind of funny. I'm one of the few guys that drive my own tow vehicles. And so in the semis, when it blew up, we came around the corner, and I knew what the damage was done. Came around the corner and see all of those guys from 4 or 5 different teams there to pitch in, help us, make sure that car was ready. They were so methodical about fixing the things that we were not necessarily prepared for, but at the same time still let my crew do the complete maintenance. We pulled it apart. We put a new short block in it because we thought it was damaged. Come to find out it wasn't, and put all new parts on it while they repaired all the wiring and everything to get it ready to fire up. It fired up on the first try, no leaks, no problems, went right up there and gave us a good shot. But the momentum going into the winter, it's just that energy that wants you to just continue trying harder. It's not easy to be a part-time team out here because, you just like St. Louis, I'll be a spectator for the rest of the season and watching them and what they can do. But we just got to keep that momentum, push hard, and try and start again next year.
I remember seeing the photo by Rebellis, and I'm thinking to myself, "Ooh, man, Doug don't like hurting parts, and you caught a lot of hurt parts in that one." But you got the win light, went on to the final round, and yes, all those teams coming together, and they certainly do respect you out there. It's often we'll have a top fuel driver such as Steve Torrance, Antron Brown, Justin Ashley. They'll come on the show, full timers, and they mention you along with TJ Zizzo and Trip Tatum. And there are these part-time teams that are no joke in NHRA drag racing. And for you, you've been doing this a while. Can you think of any other time where drag racing heads up at the professional level has ever been as competitive as it is now? We've talked that, wow, man, just a year ago, you would have been in the top half of the field. And now it's that hard to crack into qualifying wise.
Yeah, it is. I mean, this is the most competitive it is. We were driving to work this morning, me and Doug Jr., and we're just talking about what we could do better. And, you're always hard on yourself about what you're doing, but at the same time, you have to look at, we haven't done bad. We really haven't, because you look at, Ida comes into the field now, so that makes it 14 full-time cars, myself, PJ, Mercier, Trip. These are all good quality cars, which when you put it together, that's 18 cars right there. So on a regular basis, and I believe next year it's going to happen even more often, you're going to see some full-time cars not qualify because those 4 part-time cars I just mentioned are quality cars and can sneak in the field and even do some damage like we did this past weekend.
Doug, man, thank you for your time. And I haven't got to watch the national event, but I was following along on social media, and I'm like, yeah, go out there, keep getting them, and went again to another final round and represented yourself and the whole team well in the final round. And man, we're pulling for you. That win's around the corner.
I appreciate you guys' time, and it's good to be on here. And I apologize for the technical difficulties, but it's been great. I appreciate it, and I enjoy the exposure. And you guys have a great rest of the season.
You too.
All right,
thank you,
Enjoy
Doug.
it.
Take
I'll
care.
see you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Doug Foley, tell you what, good guy, and
Yes.
treats folks well and right, and has got a good program. If they could get more races under their belt, if they could get some more races under their belt, they would increase that opportunity to potentially get that Wally. They have been so close now, and if I may say, close in different time frames.
Yeah.
Because they did it under some strange circumstances at the Gator Nationals with the crazy weather weekend that it was.
Yeah.
Mine shaft conditions, like the 1 out of 100 years type of conditions that were there that weekend a couple years ago. But Aaron Brooks was there. Aaron Brooks is no longer there. We know that he's with Todd Okahara and Bob Tasca doing great things there. So Doug had to transition with some other people, and now there's a good combination with Lance and Doug Cook. So you've got a situation that they've gelled, and it seems like the team's gelling. They got good parts and pieces, and you see it come together, such as it did at the NHRA Carolina Nationals.
Most definitely. And I look forward to seeing what happens here in 2025 for them. Great end to the season for them, and they got some good things cooking. And we'll see how this thing pans out here. I really do think we can see some great improvement and a level of consistency that they're looking for, and being a thorn in everyone's side next year.
Well, speaking of 2025, our next guest, we're going to be talking about that very thing for Randy Meyer Racing. We got Megan Meyer to come on here in just a moment. Competition Plus Power Hour is brought to you by Weldon High Performance. You need high performance pumps. It is Weldon High Performance. And thank you to everyone that is watching. Hit the like button, hit the share button as we bring on Megan Meyer. Megan, always good to chat with you. Good to have you on the show. What is happening in where I assume you are in Kansas?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me back on. I feel like it's been a while, but yeah, we're gearing up here to head out to Tennessee to Chattanooga for the Tennessee Tow Show there, where we're going to debut our new dragster that we have for 2025.
Now, how did this partnership with NINA Towing Network come about?
Yeah, so it has been a long time coming. So for those that don't know, I grew up at the tow lot that my parents owned. And last year, my dad sold it. So it's called Meyer Truck Center. So if anybody from the past remembers, they probably saw the Meyer Truck Center logo on the side of all the dragsters that we have. And so when I wasn't at the racetrack, I grew up at the tow lot there that my parents owned. And so we have a very long history in the towing industry. My dad started the business 35 years ago. So we've always been very involved in that world, but really did not have a connection with racing until this year. So earlier this year, Denny Jensen, who is one of our rookie drivers, and I went to Washington, D.C., and we got to go to an event held by TRAA, which is the Towing and Recovery Association of America, where they went to meet with congressmen and congresswomen to help lobby for slow down and move over laws, as well as other towing and safety regulations there. So they invited Denny and I out to come meet with them, meet some of the congressmen, which was so cool. I had never been to Washington, D.C. before. It's not one of the places where there's a drag strip, so I've never been there before. And so we got to meet the lovely folks at INA and was able to forge a really good partnership there that is going to help us out this weekend at the Tennessee Tow Show. And then we're going to do a race. Our first race with them will be the Gator Nationals next year.
All right, so let's get this out of the way. I'm gonna bring up the graphic of the car. It looks great, bright and yellow with some cool graphics on it. That's a good looking hot rod. You say first race in 2025 is the Gator Nationals, and I'm assuming that is not going to be you behind the wheel with what you've stated in the past. So who is going to be in this Randy Meyer hot rod?
You are correct. So we are having Denny Jensen going to be behind the wheel of the hot rod. And yeah, I mean, like you see on the graphic there, bright yellow. So something kind of different from what you've seen from our team. But again, if anybody knows my dad, back in the day, he used to have yellow dragsters before he started having them red. And so, going back to our roots with this, but the whole purpose of it is to bring awareness to the slow down, move over law, as you can see there right on the car. So for those that don't know, there is a law in all 50 states that if you see a emergency responder, a policeman, a tow truck operator, a highway worker, anybody that has their lights on, whether they're working on the side of the road or on the shoulder, the law is for you to slow down and change lanes and move over. And it's a life-saving law because unfortunately people get injured and there's incidents, and sometimes people get killed because people are driving distracted or they're not just following the law and slowing down and moving over, and they're just inches away from the people that are working there on the side of the road and the highway. So This is a personal mission for us. Like I said, going back in the towing industry, we have unfortunately had some of our customers be involved in these accidents and, fatalities that have happened. So people that we know, we have lost, and including my Uncle Joe Meyer. So my Uncle Joe is the one who got my dad started in drag racing. He's the one who got my dad started in the towing industry. And so it's very personal for us. We want to spread awareness for this law so that way someone else doesn't lose their uncle on a recovery job.
Yeah, this is going to be great. Great to bring awareness to this situation. Being a person that works for city government, I understand the importance of that, as a lot of us are out there in the field, on the roads, and interacting with a lot of different ones who have that same job. What are some of the things that you guys will be having at the races to get fan engagement and kind of educate them at the racetrack?
Yeah, good question.
Tow
Well, and
the
you think,
car with a tow truck.
oh,
Yes.
hey, you know what? I bet my dad would love that. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Oh man. Yeah, we could make that happen for sure. We just got to make sure NHRA approves of that. But so what we're going to be doing is before each race, we're going to hold a local press conference, and so that way we want to get as many people from the government and the community involved. Mayors, police chiefs, firemen, any type of first responder. It doesn't have to be just tow truck operators, even though that is our background. So we're going to do major press conferences, have the cars on display in public area, so that way people can come by, see the car, get their picture. And then we will do national awareness with the media there to spread awareness for the slow down and move over law. And so we'd also love to have, fire trucks, tow trucks, ambulances there. So that way it does also turn into like a touch a truck event to get the kids involved too, because now that I have a 3-year-old son, he loves seeing tow trucks and police cars, anything that has lights and make noises. So I'd love to, do something to get kids involved too.
It's certainly needed more awareness. I put a lot of miles under myself traveling at all these races, and I get frustrated all the time. I'll pull over and someone doesn't, or they try to pass when you pull over, and it's like, hey, dude, there's someone right there.
Yeah.
Trying
Yeah,
to,
if anyone has
get
ever,
this vehicle out of the way or whatever.
Yeah, if you ever had to change a tire on the highway, and people, like, you have your hazards on, but still people aren't paying attention because they might be on their phone or eating or even just changing the radio station or podcast. Just that split second is all they need to veer over a couple inches and might take someone's life.
Right.
Now, this is a really cool thing. I'm really excited to see how this transpires and the people that it touches, because I think this is an important subject. So many people every day either get injured or lose their life just doing their job. So more awareness that we can have, it can kind of help hopefully lessen this thing, and people will be more aware.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yep. That'll be our cause, our purpose for 2025 with Randy My Racing Team.
All right, 2024. We're not done with it quite yet. And from the last time that I looked, the standings, in particular, one individual on a Randy Meyer racing machine is doing exceptionally well. Hunter Green was or is actually leading the points.
Yeah, so I haven't had a chance to look because I looked like right after Charlotte happened, and NHRA hadn't had it updated yet. So I need to go and refresh the page. But yeah, he's had a great year this year so far. And he's the type of driver that improves every single year. So he, and the car's just been doing phenomenal too. We've got an amazing crew with us this year. Shout out to Jake, who joined our team late last year. He's been the car chief for Hunter, and he's done an amazing job taking care of that car. And so we're very proud. We've been to 14 final rounds this year, almost all consecutively, and just so proud of our team. All the guys have put so much time and effort into making sure these cars are fast and safe down the track. And then we also, each of our drivers have stepped up too. Outside of Hunter, we have Julie. There's Gary, who's making his rookie debut this year. We have Scott, who's returning, who is the leader for regional points. And so between our 4 main drivers, we are having an amazing season this year. And I'm so proud of everybody.
Hey, is Fiona coming back over at all this year, or did that not get worked out?
Not this year. We hope next year. She's always at the top of the list. But I will say at Vegas, we will be licensing 2 international female drivers. So you might see more of that coming into our team next year. We'll see how they do.
Very cool. Very cool. And look, continuing the Randy Meyer Racing way. I mean, Julie is going to be stepping up, making a top fuel debut, and so many people have done that through Randy Meyer Racing, having whatever level of success, and then moving on to top fuel. I mean, Travis Shoemate, Justin Ashley, going to be Julie here before long, and I mean, the list can go on and on and on. So you all are accustomed to making racers and making winners and making champions.
Yeah, well, and Doug was one of them as well, long time ago. So yeah, my dad and I, we have a lot of experience. My dad's been drag racing for 45 years, so he knows a thing or two. I've made hundreds of laps under my belt, so I'm together, I feel like we've put together this really good program to coach drivers and make it easy at the same time, because we do get a lot of people that come to us that have no driving experience, and they see that, drag racing, and they're like, that's the coolest thing ever. I want to get behind one of those cars. And, we prefer to have someone that has some experience, at least going the quarter mile, but we will get 1 or 2 here and there that they're like, I'm obsessed, I want to hop in, and they don't, always want to take the time to kind of go through the sportsman ranks. So I feel like we've got a good program here. We do quite a bit of testing and licensing, and not everybody does make it. We've had some people that do a couple of passes, and it humbles them, because even if they do have some experience in Super Comp or Top Dragster or any of the other sportsman classes, top alcohol dragster is a whole nother different level. And I can say that because I've gone through the ranks myself, and it's not an easy step to go from Super Comp to top alcohol. I didn't get my license right away either. I spent years training and practicing before I even actually got my license for it. So, there's a lot of skill that is involved with it, but I feel like we're able to communicate that very well, and pump out drivers that are able to win races their first year or go on to win championships. But we make it serious for them. They can't bring friends, they can't bring family. We just want them by themselves so they can focus 100% on driving the car. Because the worst thing that could happen is they get into an accident, and we have, knock on wood, that hasn't happened, but we had some couple instances come close there. But you mentioned Julie. I do want to do a shout out. So Hettinger's Equipment, which you saw on the side of the car at Indy, at Norwalk, at Brainerd, they have also stepped up to help Julie out this weekend with her Top Fuel debut. So our partner Hettinger's Equipment will be on the side of the car for her this weekend. Hettinger's is based out of Indianapolis. They are a tow truck record dealership. So they were actually one of our competitors. So, but we were in different territories. And so, but they've also become a good partner of ours. And this year, and so they are also going to be helping out Julie this weekend in St. Louis.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, look, just a couple more. Won't keep you long. got to take the opportunity. I mean, I would get email if I don't ask this question. In 2025, Megan Meyer, when will she be behind the wheel? I think this year you got 1 or 2 night under fires under your belt type of scenario. What about 2025 and you holding that butterfly steering wheel?
Yeah. Well, how did I know you were going to ask this question? I'm still working on it. So, as you know, I at this time, I have no plans to return back to competition with NHRA. I'm very happy with my role on the team, my role as a mother, an entrepreneur. So I'm just, still sticking with the match races, the night under fires, going to Mocan, that's my home track, and just having fun. That's all I want to do right now is I just want to go race and have fun. I don't want to worry about points. I don't want to worry about competition or trying to win a championship. I just want to do drag racing for, the sole purpose of why I got started in the first place, to have fun and go fast.
Here. I concur. Last thing is, so with the trade show down there in Chattanooga, is the car going to be there, or is the car going? Oh, okay.
Yes, car is going to be there, and I have actually not seen this body on the car yet. So we had the body. It's one of our spare bodies that we have. So I was there when it got wrapped, but it hasn't actually been on the car yet. So this will be the first time we've got bright yellow scoop, bright yellow front wing, rear wing. So it'll be cool to see it all the pieces together.
And is it Friday or Saturday that it's being debut showcase both days?
Yeah, it'll be both days, but Friday is when we're doing a big press conference in Chattanooga. And so we'll be posting all the pictures and videos on social media. So make sure people are following Megan Meyer, Randy Meyer Racing.
The girlfriend lives an hour away, so might be some drag racing media representation there. Maybe. Never know.
I would love that. You should come.
Megan, look, good to always talk to you, and keep up the good work on the marketing platform side of things. Before we let you go, plug that where people can go and get help from you, learning how to find those that can help them.
Yeah, for sure. So you can always find me at meganmeyerracing.com or the team's randymeyerracing.com. But if there are any racers out there that are needing help with sponsorships, I have a platform. I have a program that is created with you in mind. I'm literally giving you the steps that I follow to get sponsorships because I have been in your shoes. I know how much racers struggle with getting sponsorships. So I will be having a free online class on Zoom on October 8th. So if you go to my website, motorsportsmarketingtips.com, you can sign up for that free class and then learn more about my sponsorship program, because I know this is the season for it. And also something new this year is we are going to be having a private networking happy hour at the PRI show with me and Alex Streiler are hosting it. And so only our members are invited to this. And then we are also bringing all of the connections we have, everybody that has been on our Meet the Sponsors and sponsorship summits, classes that we've had are going to be there. So so if any racer wants to get connected with those companies at PRI show during a happy hour, that's the perfect time to do it to get a sponsorship. So I hope to see some racers there.
Cool. Megan, thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys. Glad to be back on.
Pretty cool.
Always good to talk to Megan. Dad's a cool person, Randy. Yeah. And the team over there always performing exceptionally well and getting it done in no matter where they may go race. Dugenais, we still got plenty to talk about right here on the Competition Plus Power Hour. And we had Doug on earlier. I saw the graph, the pie graph. What a bracket buster he was in the top fuel ranks. And again, in top fuel in particular, it has become so challenging. You look and you're like, okay, TJ Zizzo against Justin Ashley, like, Doug Foley against Tony Schumacher. There are no easy picks right now in drag racing bracket bonanza.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
Dujane, once again, I wasn't able to catch the NHRA national event. I have caught snippets of reruns of the national broadcast. So, folks, dive into the comments section. Let us know the moments you love the most of the Carolina Nationals. I was at Mid-State Dragway for Nitro Chaos. Dujane, I want to start again with Pro Stock Motorcycle. Shocking. Gage Herrera not in a final round again, and Matt Smith wins. I mean, look, it is like, to me, it's like wide open now. The conversation is completely different than what it was going into the countdown in 2024.
It is. It's definitely, to me, a 3-horse race. You got Richard Gatson, his bike's coming along right now. Yeah, I might actually find myself into that. I'm a 43-year-old guy that might want to jump into a car. You know what I mean? I don't have any experience, but hey, I know that they can make me experienced. But anyway, so I think it's a 3-horse race. It is a surprise to see Gage. Gage got nipped by his own teammate. It's going to be interesting. I just want to see Matt continue to put it together because consistency is what's going to win this thing in order for him to stay ahead of those two guys. And I think Richard is actually coming on and going to make this thing quite interesting for the both of them and could easily come up and nip and take this thing right down at the end.
Mighty Max states that it's the first time Gage Herrera is not the points leader since Gainesville of 2023. That is insane. By the way, if you are looking for NHRA content on YouTube, you certainly want to be subscribed to Mighty Mac with reviews of the NHRA races. And I tell you what, let's go ahead and transition to Funny Car and just remark with Darren Williams Jr. Proc 3 in a row that, like, hey, like, should you be diving into the comment section and commenting like that? You're on the team. I don't know. Is that how it's supposed to work?
Hey man, he just bragging a little bit, and rightfully so. I mean, Proc is. It is absolutely unbelievable what he's doing. Again, I spoke about it last week. The guy just has the tenacity. And his approach is just as important as his dad and brother tuning this thing right. He's got his mind right, and he's just going to be tough to stop. He's throwing haymakers every time, and he's landing them and knocking guys out. And I really think, to be honest with you, I think this thing is pretty much in the bag. They'd have to trip, fall on their face, poop their pants to mess this up. And I think it's over before we get to Vegas and they have this championship in hand. It is remarkable, just what he has done as a driver. It's not easy to go from a dragster long wheelbase to something that's a short wheelbase that's, throwing you every which way. You got this thing, steering wheel jacked all the way around, and she's still driving to the center line. Like, it is absolutely insane and remarkable. It says a lot about his driving skills. Says a lot about him as a person, a driver, and all hats off to that guy. it's something that we'll be talking about for a long time in history.
It certainly will be, and I just want to I don't want to pump the brakes. Let's just tap just a little bit, because we need to get past St. Louis. We need to get past Worldwide Technology Raceway, because it is routinely that race that throws the proverbial wrench into the system. So who makes it past round one? That is the top contenders right now. That is what I want to see at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Depending on weather is going to be very interesting. I know I've been looking at all the races that are possible this weekend. There's a lot of drag racing happening this weekend, and I'm like, oh, and they are almost all in the path of what is coming out of the Gulf at the moment. But yes, what a phenomenal performance Proc, and Proc are putting on with that John Force Racing funny car. And, we look at Top Fuel and Tron Brown. They have had the ability to be championship contenders for a couple of years now, and they've showcased the ability to rise at the right time, but then they have had a trip up. It may be the case, though, that this year there's no more trip ups for them, and they run this countdown.
Yeah, I mean, talked to Brian Karate on the Not Bland show earlier. Look, they've won 3 out of the last 5 races. And if you look at their regular season, they were kind of average, like 19 and 11 round win-loss record. But the wild thing is that they had 3 wins in the regular season, despite really having a season that was 8 races above 500 in the round win-loss record. And then you come right into the countdown and you've got 2 wins here. They've looked the most consistent. I still think, though, we have to still remember that when we look at all of those teams in the top 4, because I do think it's a 4-horse race. I think the done line is between Coletta and Clay. I think Clay is done. All 4 of those cars have had the case of the whoopsie daisies here and there with early exits, not qualifying well, showing a little bit of inconsistency. But if you're in the business of what have you done for me lately, he is definitely the most consistent and has a hell of a lot of momentum coming into Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Pro Stock. We've got a little bit of change at the top, but that doesn't mean that individuals have lost too much ground. There is still a fight significant in the Pro Stock ranks as we go into Worldwide Technology Raceway, which has proven at times, weather condition-wise, to be a very challenging track for the Pro Stockers.
Yeah, I think this is still a 4-horse race as well. Erica and Greg aren't necessarily out of it. The 2 guys at the top, though, have been uber consistent. You wouldn't know it unless you looked at it, but Dallas is 40 and 12 round win-loss record. I mean, quietly just been knocking heads, and AA has been one of the hottest drivers in the last 4 to 5 weeks. So it's going to be tough for Erica and Greg to unseat them, but that doesn't mean it's not possible. I do think this is a 2-horse race at the end of the day. Those 2 guys are very consistent. They're exceptionally focused, and I think this is going to be a battle of the 2, and we're going to have new faces that will be called champion. I think this is Dallas's to lose. He's gotten off to a better start than in his previous years in the countdown. It's going to be super important for him to stay ahead of the game, getting all the small points, and staying ahead of AA. But I've got a feeling this is going to go all the way to the end because these two guys are either going to find themselves in a semifinal round with each other or they're going to be in a final round with each other. And it's going to be hard for those two to pull away from each other.
I would love Pomona. Final round. Number 1 qualifier, number 2 qualifier, Dallas Glenn, Aaron Stanfield, KB Titan versus Elite Motorsports for it all and a win. That would be cool.
That would be. That's your dream scenario right there. That's the NHRA would definitely be happy about that. So it's quite possible, and it's quite possible that we see all of these come down to Pomona. But I don't think. I think Funny Car's out, and I'm willing to go out on a limb on that. I don't see guys like Tasca and the like did themselves in, and like I said, they basically would not have to show up and somehow, I don't know, get a case of the explosive diarrhea and not be able to run. Like, that's not right. It ain't happening. So I think the championship belongs to that Camaro over there of the Procs.
I think that is a solid choice. I just want us to get past Worldwide Technology Raceway and see where things are at. Just so often, the race there just outside of St. Louis in Madison, Illinois, it produces we did not expect that kind of moment. So let's see who does and does not get past round 1. And by the way, I mean, when you look at the top fuel field, it's a situation of like who might not qualify. It's so many interesting storylines going into this weekend. And granted, though, I will say that the full-time teams that have the most experienced individuals and possibly the deeper pockets, this may be a race where they shine as well, though, because we are talking about this is the 3rd straight race.
Yeah. Guys should be in a rhythm right now. The teams that have been shining and have been putting together good laps should be able to go out here and really, push the envelope here at this particular race. It's going to come down to the pressure. A lot of teams who are running well. This is the golden part about running well coming into the last race of your first half of your championship race, is that when now guys like Antron Brown, when they line up next to you, they know they got to get something on the tree. Everybody else outside of Justin Ashley, they're going to be up on the wheel knowing they got to be somewhere in the vicinity of, or Antron's going to leave me at the starting wheel. And when that usually happens, guys pressing, strange things happen and pressure bust pipes. So I'm very interested to see how all these things going, what I call the John Force effect, happens with all these guys that are coming in with a lot of momentum, a lot of consistency, and who are just knocking guys down. It's going to put a lot of pressure on those who are trying to stay and keep their head in the game and keep skin in the game to go rounds.
All right, we're going to take a moment and we're going to play a video that Bobby Bennett sent. And I haven't talked to Bobby. I still don't quite understand this segment, but it's who you're taking. And we're going to play the video, dive into the comment section of who you're taking, and
not
I'll
a fool,
Bobby and actually understand and understand what is the point of this particular segment. But very well done. We'll dive into it. Then we'll talk some Nitro Chaos and continue in the world of drag racing.
New generation drag race hot rods. No coming out. That's going to be on the left side.
Flying the logos of the Clash Racer Nationals and Tony Fagnilli on the right side. Tony's occupation is trophy husband. Talk about nice work if you can get it. I applied for that job once. You know what they said? Yeah, that's exactly what they said. Ford versus Chevrolet, supercharged small blocks. How about Tony just hovering the front end out there? How about Tony with a double 0-1 reaction time? How about Tony with an 832, 161 miles an hour? 001 832. Yeah, come and get you some of that. Kenny Mealy's going to look at that time slip and go, he did what?
I told you. If
Look,
that's Bob Tasker, don't bet on it.
001's just about always hard to beat.
Yeah, it is.
But
It is.
speaking about losing, even though you do have a 001, right now the Fall Fling $500,000 race is underway, happening at Bristol Dragway. So you can tune in at the Fling races on YouTube. I believe that's the YouTube channel, and it's being streamed for free. They start tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to enjoy some, well, very good bracket racing, very close bracket racing, and where people lose on true heartbreaks because they like almost had perfect packages and yet still lose to the person who had a perfect package. It's absolutely insane. And not to mention a neat car show. The last time I was there earlier, 3 weeks ago now, for the Summer Fling, I will say this about bracket racing. It is not everybody's cup of tea. I certainly understand that. But a lot of times there are some cool cars that show up to a bracket race that you're like, they're drag racing that?
Yeah, that's what's so fun about that, is that you have the variety of cars that show up. And it kind of takes you it takes you back to the grassroots of drag racing, and you don't see a bunch of Camaros or but lately it's just a bunch of Camaros. So that makes it even more fun.
It certainly does. Nitro Chaos, you have it in its second season as a championship tour. And this year, Joey Haas, a name that people that do watch NHRA should be familiar with, he picks up the championship in the family hot rod, a car that, if they make a few tweaks, could actually go out there and qualify for a national championship, tuned by a name you all should definitely recognize, Mike Kern. So Mike Kern, as a tuner, picks up a championship in Nitro Chaos. And they do so out of the McKinney Motorsports A field, competing in it routinely and winning races in it. So the race at Mid-State Dragway was a great drag race. So much of it showcased why Nitro Chaos is what it is. There was at one time, Duchesne, that you had a coupe, like a 34 coupe on Nitro, lined up against a Nitro Pro Mod. Like, yes. There you go. So, and I want to say as well, it had been, 2 or 3 years since I had been to Mid-State Dragway. The time that I went, it was Central Illinois Dragway. The name has been changed. It's gone back to the original name. And I love little drag strips. And Central Illinois Dragway at the time was a nice little place, but it could use, at that time, some TLC. Well, the new ownership, the new management there, they have put in the TLC. They put in new pavement. They put in grandstands that actually were acquired from Topeka. And they have cut back growth and made viewing better and camping better, parking better. They have made it a better facility for fan and for racer, adding in new showers to come eventually, all those type of things. Good job, Mid-State Dragway. If you haven't been to Mid-State Dragway there in Havana, Illinois, yes, it may not have the nightlife as Havana in Cuba, but you do got some drag nights, and you can certainly go enjoy the races now at Mid-State Dragway.
It's awesome. I love hearing tracks upgrade and put money into the tracks to make fan experience better and more comfort. Yeah, that's cool to hear. To answer Memphis Lonnie's question, it looks like we have 20 top fuel cars, 16 funny cars, 21 pro stockers, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 pro stock motorcycles. That's your count. So yes, full fields. Top fuel will be a cluster, and somebody good may be going home, may not qualify, and funny car or pro stock, somebody might not qualify. That is a good car. So definitely potential for some big names to not make it, but then the other two are just, it doesn't matter. You could just simply make one pass and it'd be ugly, and you're still going to make it. So.
Andrew asked a question. I just read it on NHRAracer.com. Anyone can go there and read it, matter of fact. It has something to do with apparently trying to turn the motor over for whatever reason, and it's on the shutdown return road type of scenario. So apparently that's an infraction of like trying to, that might have been a situation of trying to windmill it for some reason. I don't know, but apparently maybe you're not put starter to car period type of scenario with a fuel car. That might be the situation.
Interesting.
I'm just speculating, but that's how it kind of reads.
Right.
So even if you wanted to windmill it, even if you were trying to clear things, or even if you were backing it down, you need to do that manually and not put a starter to it. It seems like that's the case. Yeah. Scott, he asks, would Funny Car Chaos ever come to Milan Dragway in Michigan? So Scott, thank you for putting this question out there. And Scott, by the way, thank you for all your support. Greatly appreciate it. I wish more folks would So Scott, if I may brag on him for a moment, Dugenet, he'll watch a video like I put from Southeast Gassers or from other type of event, and he'll actually drop a few dollars from $5, $10, or to $20. And if I may say, I wish more people would do that. Now you may say, "Oh, Lee, well, you're just glad he gives money." Well, I am, because going out, for example, if you see someone put a video out and it's not sponsored, that video is coming out of their pocket for you to see on YouTube. YouTube is not free. It may be free to you as a viewer and to I as a viewer, but for me to go to the track and to cover the race and then to edit and produce and publish, that is not altogether free. There's gas, there's food, there's lodging, there's a camper trailer payment, there's so on. So Scott, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. But to answer the question of would Funny Car Chaos ever come to Milan Dragway, I think that answer is yes. Now, I can't speak for Chris Graves directly on you're going to see that in 2025, but I certainly believe it is an option. It's just a matter of, can that deal work out between a series promoter and owner like Chris Graves and the track owner and operator, whoever that is at Milan. So you've got in 2025, it's been announced that Funny Car Chaos will go to Byron Dragway in Illinois for the first time ever. And Nitro Chaos, well, it was a return for Chaos to Mid-State Dragway, but the first time ever for Nitro Chaos to go there, because about 5-6 years ago, Funny Car Chaos had been there and had only been there once. So the potential for any track to have Chaos is there, honestly. It just has to make sense. And that's also like people ask, what about Southeast Gassers? Could they come to this track? Oh, yes, they could. It just has to make sense. And there are different types of deals out there in the promoting world. And I don't fully understand all of it because I'm not a promoter. And I've already learned watching what Chris Graves goes through that I don't want to have anything to do with it. The headache.
It's tough.
And every now and then, let me tell you, if you know who a promoter is and you're a drag racing fan, go shake their hand and pat them on the back, because it is a tougher job than you might think. You are putting up with so many people complaining about something. These whiny little racers complaining about the racing, whiny little fans complaining about the show, whiny track. I mean, just somebody's whining somewhere.
Yep.
So if you enjoy it and you know the promoter, just pat them on the back, say thank you for what you're doing, and keep up the good work. If you're interested in chaos, just go to the website, give Chris an email, talk to him. He's willing to talk to just about anybody about chaos, whether it's exhibition or a points race. It may not be this year, it may not be next year, but you never know. Because I think chaos is a great fit.
It is.
For many tracks that are not going to hold a national event, but they could have a big event of their size and scale with having Funny Car Chaos or Nitro Chaos coming to town.
Yeah. If Maryland International Raceway can have it, that would be I think that would be a great stepping stone for a track like South Georgia Motorsports Park to get involved in that as well. I want to thank Scott as well. Contributes to the show. Big time help for the Not Bland show, enabling us to expand our coverage in the NFL, really be able to dive into the coaches' tape. Without that support, it would be very difficult, and it is greatly appreciated. It's really helped us to be able to bring really good coverage to you guys, the fans, on the drag racing side and on the NFL side. So, yes, it is greatly appreciated, by us, what the contributions that you have given us. It is greatly appreciated.
So, Dujanay, there's a lot of drag racing happening this weekend. Worldwide Technology Raceway. We also obviously have been talking about that for the NHRA national event. There is NHRA regional action at Virginia Motorsports Park. So if you're on the East Coast, there near Richmond, Virginia, just down the road about 45 minutes in Dinwiddie, you can catch action at VMP. There also is NMRA, I believe that's correct. NMRA action at Beach Bend Raceway Park this weekend. You also have some outlaw drag racing of the no time variety, if I remember how it was advertised correctly, at Rocket City Dragway in Huntsville, Alabama. And again, furthermore, across the country, you can find drag. Also, there is the Bow Tie Nationals happening at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. Think of it kind of like a Super Chevy show to some extent, but not the Super Chevy show. They're going to have autocross, but they're also going to have quarter mile and eighth mile drag racing there at Indianapolis Raceway Park. There is drag racing across the country for you to catch. Sadly, most of what I just mentioned is in the pathway of some type of scattered storm scenario.
Yeah, MIR is having the Supercharger Showdown this weekend. You have here at South Georgia Motorsports Park, it's supposed to be the second annual NT Shootout, featuring the D League of Junior 484. Got No Mercy coming up in October at South Georgia Motorsports Park. But yeah, there's a lot of drag racing. This hurricane, though, might put a damper on some of it. MIR, you probably got a better shot. In the middle of the country, Atlanta over to even, say, St. Louis, it's questionable. Very questionable.
Very questionable. But what is not questionable is that drag racing is alive and well. And we have had a great time with all of you chatting about drag racing. Thank you to Doug Foley and Megan Meyer for their time. Dujanay Bland, thank you for your time being right here on the Competition Plus Power Hour. Folks, I'm Lee Kraft, and this has been on CompetitionPlus.com, the Competition Plus Power Hour.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since 1970.